The most ridiculous was the thing where they hit me on carrying out the executions because some of these serial killers were veterans. And I'm just thinking, you have a lieutenant governor, it's a Green Beret, governor's a veteran, and they're the veteran friendly, and yet the governor is signing death warrants for, yeah, when you rape and murder young children, you're liable for that punishment. And if a jury of your peers, if you're convicted and awarded that punishment by a jury of your peers, it's my solemn responsibility to carry it out. The notion that somehow veterans would not want to see strong justice for serial killers. Some guy, one of the guys murdered his wife and kids in cold blood. Give me a break. Is that the best they can do to talk about this as some type of anti-veteran thing? No. It's anti-serial killer. It's anti-child murderer. It's anti-rape and murder. That's what we're doing, and we're upholding the law when we do it. So I just thought that was almost unbelievable that they would try to do it. Look, anytime you do anything, people take shots. Fine, that goes with the territory. But like sometimes it's like you may want to like pause and check that before you press send and embarrass yourself. So if that's what they're trying to do, that being pro-veteran to these people on the left mean running interference for child rapists and serial killers, I can speak for the lieutenant governor. Count him out and count me out. That is not what we signed up for. We signed up to protect the public. We signed up to stand up for victims. We signed up to make sure that our communities are safe. And so this is part of that process, and I just thought it was ridiculous.
A little off topic.
Construction of this?
Timeline for construction on this, Forrest, I think we're going to be probably around 14, 15, 16 days. But again, as the governor said in his prepared remarks, we want to make sure that we do everything right. You know, a building that's been dormant now for a couple of years is going to have some unforeseen challenges that we did not see at the naked eye. So, you know, our timeline is probably going to be about 2 weeks. But again, we may run into some challenges. But, you know, again, we do this very quickly. So I definitely believe it's going to be 2-3 weeks. We'll have this completely up and running.
Little off-topic question. There was another court ruling in the Middle District of Florida on the book challenges, basically saying districts can't remove books unless they are subject to the Miller test. Do you know, does that apply statewide? What's your guidance to districts? I mean, do they need to start putting books that they've removed back on shelves? What's the scope of that ruling?
I would have them consult with Stasi Koumoutsas, the Commissioner of Education. I don't think that that's the case. First of all, there is no basis to say that the public can enact laws to keep pornographic material out of these schools. I mean, the reality is this is an agenda that they're trying to jam into our schools, and that's something that parents don't want. You know, it used to be this stuff wouldn't be in schools. Now it's like they want to use it as an agenda. So we'll ultimately win those challenges. I think we've won, you know, most of the stuff that they've ruled against us on appeal thus far in this realm. It's not just the books. I mean, the performances where you have sexually explicit performances in these bars with like young kids present. We say no, you know, that's something that's not appropriate. So I think that they should consult with the Commissioner of Education. But our view is, you know, we will vigorously uphold and support the policies of Florida. They have been very friendly to parents. They have invested them with a right to know what's being taught and also the right to object to things that are not appropriate.
And how long was Deportation Depot on you guys' radar? Like, did you guys figure that out? You wanted to do that a couple months ago?
When we had the plan that we submitted DHS a couple months ago, we envisioned more than one facility. When I stood up Alligator Alcatraz, I said, you know, we're probably looking at another. I've been in Northeast Florida saying we were looking at doing a probably at Blanding, just because we have existing infrastructure. This is just a much better deal, and so I'm glad we were able to do this.
And Governor, if I can add to that, you know, I've been working with Secretary Dixon all along on trying to identify continuity sites. You know, again, if we have to evacuate, because again, we were accused of not being ready for hurricane season, which I know you know is absolute crap. But we have been working with the Department of Corrections to identify facilities that are all over the state of Florida. There's one here, there's one in Mayo, there's one in Chattahoochee, there's one in Arcadia, DeSoto County. So we've already been we've been to those locations. Me and my staff have been to those locations, already identifying these potential continuity evacuation sites, if you will, that we can get up and running very quickly. So this has always been on the radar. We've been doing this for, you know, several months now. So again, this was not an after the fact, oh, that was a good idea, we should have done that all along. That's crap. This has been on our radar for quite some time.
This may be a question for you, Kevin. You know, you mentioned the cost, $6 million to get this up and running. Obviously, Alligator Alcatraz was like $450 million. What would
It's
Camp
not
Blanding?
$450 million to get it up and running. They're quoting. First of all, it's not going to be. They're quoting for that to be a year of operation. We're just talking about the run up. It'll be about $6 million to get it operational.
What would Camp Blanding have been? I'm just out of curiosity.
So again, we had, I had a master plan, if you will, that I talked to the governor about. There is a ongoing capital outlay project going on with the barracks there at Camp Blanding. So utopia would have been moving into those barracks that would have been hard-sided structures. That timeline probably would have pushed us into late fall, early winter. But again, the demand signal was there. We were ready for that demand signal either to go to temporary facilities at Camp Blanding or to come to another location. That's ultimately what the governor decided to do. Again, as the governor just mentioned, it is not $450 million to do these type of things. The federal government has contracted with us and given us a grant for about $608 million that my chief of staff has been working for probably about the last 3 months now with Department of Homeland Security. So we are guaranteed $608 million in reimbursement that has been assigned to the Florida Division of Emergency Management for the purposes of running up to 5,000 beds. So the cost on what it would have taken to get Blanding up and running was probably going to be somewhere with temporary structures and then moving into the permanent structures, probably $75, $100 million, somewhere in that neighborhood. We're going to be able to come here and get this up and running for $6. So this effectively it's Doge, Florida style, to support government Doge, and that is to come in at the lowest price point, and that's what we've done.
And I think it's interesting. I'm trying to think, and I mentioned the lieutenant governor, his operational expertise, and he's obviously already been involved in rescue efforts as a state senator. I told him, I said, hopefully we don't have a hurricane, but if we do, I don't know that you're going to be in the EOC with me. You're going to be with Jim Cantore. You're going to be out there reporting real time. You'll be the first one to do any rescues if anyone needs any help down there. And so, we're going to make you expeditionary. So I'm just kind of looking at this facility, trying to think like, okay, what could we use a Green Beret for and kind of the immigration space and something like that. And I don't know if we need any airborne ops at some point, but I know Jay will be ready.
Governor, any message to Baker County residents in the area? Is this going to affect them at all, or is the process going to be seamless?
No, I don't think. I mean, it could provide economic benefit because I think you'll just have more people here that are going to be, eating in local spots. I guarantee you that Busy Bee is going to do even better. That's right there off the interstate because, if you're going to the airport, I mean, that'd be the first place I would stop when I was done with that. And so I know that they've done very well. I know they've expanded in Florida. So yeah. So I mean, I think it'll be probably a positive economic benefit. It ain't going to be. They ain't escaping from here. That ain't going to happen. And so I don't think it's going to be something where people are going to have to worry about that. And if somehow there is an escape, then maybe I could send Jay on that task. So, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hey, Kevin, can I, if the 450 isn't really accurate, do you know what the upfront cost to get just the infrastructure built at Alligator Out of the Crow's was?
The infrastructure, we estimated, of course, we're still in the process of building that out.
Yeah.
But we estimated that our startup cost there would probably be about 175 to 200 million.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of do a comparison on how much better of a deal this is.
Yeah. Yep.